Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Titans Season 3, and this is going to be my review for Episode 13 for the season, the finale for Season 3, otherwise entitled Purple Rain. Now, of course, spoiler alert if you've not watched the episode, because it's the finale, big stuff happens, end of the season, and some quote-unquote potential setup for next season, even though it's quite minor. So yeah, just spoiler alert going ahead. But of course, if you haven't watched the episode, you've now watched the entire season, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the finale as a whole, whether it wrapped up the season well, and just what you thought of the season as a whole as well. Did it improve from last season? Are you happy where Titans is going? You know, were you happy with the beginning, disappointed with the ending, or the opposite? Let me know all your thoughts and yeah, just your general review and everything like that down there. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you enjoyed this episode and this season, why not drop a like on the video to show your support for all of that. Now, obviously, I didn't do a review last week, and that's because it felt like a first part of a two-part finale. It just felt like a lot of setup. Like, I didn't think it was an episode really worth reviewing and breaking down. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it and we'll just jump into this finale. I thought it was the best way to do it. And I'm sort of happy I did, because I don't know really what I would have talked about last week. It wasn't really that overly eventful. But yeah, let's talk about this one. But in regards to last week, just to lead into this, we had Dick Grayson being revived after being shot by a member of the public. He's put into the Lazarus pit, see his journey through that briefly. Superboy blows up Blackfire's ship due to not wanting her to leave in a bit of a selfish mood. Jason and Dick, or Nightwing and Red Hood, team up against Scarecrow towards the end. However, Scarecrow has got his arsenal of Toxin for his big assault on Gotham. So that's a big setup for the finale. And yeah. Now, I'm going to do this review a bit different compared to my previous Titans videos for this season. I'm not going to do like a major dive, like too deep into breaking what goes down or went down this episode and all of that, but just a quick recap and then discuss the quote-unquote cliffhanger, or ending off points for this season and various characters, and then discuss the season as a whole and how I saw it and what I would overall give the season out of like 10, or just my general thoughts on the season. So in regards to this episode, we have V being revealed as an Argus agent who was sent to GCPD to monitor Ra's al Ghul, or Raz. I think she says Ra's al Ghul. I always say Ra's al Ghul. What do you say, Ra's or Raz? Anyway, I'm going to say Ra's al Ghul, and some activities around a plan of his that's going on. She even name drops Roy Harper as well. I think it's heavily rumored that in season 4, Roy Harper is going to be in the show. So maybe that's why they quickly name dropped him again. He'd been name dropped a couple of times in the show's past. But maybe they name dropped him again in this finale because he's going to be in next season. But that's for us to wait and find out. Now, Donna and Tim Drake with his family are bailed out by Raven and Gar after they get overcome by GCPD officers. Now, at this point, we did see Tim sort of show off some skills, which impresses his family, but also catches the eye of Donna and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think Tim somewhat proved himself fairly well in this finale, considering he has no real proper training, and obviously based off the end of this episode, which we'll discuss, that's going to develop going forward. Now, there are these bombs going off around Gotham City that contain Scarecrow's toxin, which is killing people, and it kills, I think they roughly estimated it was like 500 to 2,000, so it's a decent range of people, but it was killing them. It wasn't making them go, crazy and see fears. It was just straight up killing them, with the plan from the Titans to somehow use the Lazarus pit to reverse it. But the big issue is that they have to find a way to bring the Lazarus pit to the people. They can't take 500 to 2,000 or however many people it is to the Lazarus pit, and also the Lazarus pit has issues in it, so they just need to take really the healing properties from the Lazarus pit out and about to the people. So there's a bit of a thing that they have to sort of work out. Now, one of the cooler action scenes, because this episode was pretty mild on the action considering it's Titans. I guess it was fairly mild on the action, but we did have Gar going to Wayne Manor with the backup of Red Hood and Nightwing. And this is to hack into the mainframe at Wayne Manor, so then they can stop Scarecrow from setting off these bombs. It was cool. I think the Nightwing scene was pretty cool there, but also the Red Hood one as well, especially when he was stopping all the officers coming towards Gar while he was doing his hacking. Obviously, there was the Selena Kyle name drop, like she was the one that got away or whatever it was. Yeah, I think it was just a bit of an Easter egg. But in regards to helping out those already affected by the toxin that Scarecrow's sent out in that first bomb, Starfire and Blackfire use their combined powers to lift the contents of the Lazarus pit into like this ball thing. But before that, Raven absorbs the fears that the pit holds from the people that have used it. So obviously it's not mixed in with what's going to be, used on the people that have, that need to be revived. Now the Lazarus Pit's contents is then turned into a storm with the help of like, what do you call him? Superboy or Connor, sort of making the air cold, and sort of making like a conflict, so it creates a storm. And the storm has purple rain fall from the sky, literally purple rain, like the episode title, and it comes down on Gotham. And as you'd expect, this does revive Gotham, but it also sort of like, plays into when, well, it revives the citizens of Gotham, but it then also sort of leans into when Bruce Wayne, sorry, returns to Gotham, and he sees it's being like rebuilt and reformed and coming back to life, and seeing just the city rebuilt from what just happened this season with the takeover from Red Hood and what was going on with Scarecrow. So yeah, they sort of like played into that fairly well. But that's really the end of like the story stuff before it really leans into stuff that like ends off the season and then leads into next season. So the first one is Jason, Todd, and Bruce. Now Bruce and Dick have a conversation, but it's not much. But Jason, Todd, and Bruce, they forgive each other. But the big thing is that Jason's moving on from Wayne Manor, and there's no real like cliffhanger with him. Now I'm unsure whether he plays into next season in any sort of main capacity. There's been that rumor constantly. There's a Red Hood spin-off show. Based off the end of this episode, you'll think, okay, well, maybe that makes sense that there's going to be a Red Hood spin-off show, but it hasn't been announced. And I think if it was going to happen after this, like, and that would be the end point before that show, it would have already been announced. So I'm assuming he's going to be in next season of Titans, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to be doing anything villainous, so maybe he goes to another town and does some vigilante stuff. We'll have to wait and see. But we just know that he moves on from Wayne Manor and he's not going to go back into that. And it is sort of unclear whether Bruce is going to step back into being Batman or not. But I guess, does Gotham need him? So if Gotham doesn't need him, then he doesn't have to be Batman. So I guess it's a wait and see. Now, Blackfire is going to get her ship fixed by the government dude, actually thanks to help from Superboy, who can remember what was going on. So even though Superboy destroyed, he's there to help and get that going, or at least set it up so the government dude can get it fixed. I'm confused on the whole Blackfire thing because I don't know. I thought she was going to be the villain or a villain this season, and it never happened. Maybe they had their plans to and they changed it. And I don't know if COVID was a reason for it. I'm not too sure, but I don't know if next season that's the plan. But the whole Blackfire thing was really weird. Like, I think honestly, based off what they did with her this season, she didn't have to be in the season. Because if she was a villain, then fair enough. But based off what she did in this season, she didn't need to be in the season. So I'm really confused what what happened with Blackfire, because I thought they were building towards her being this villainous threat, but it never happened, and it would have worked based off the story. But then nothing happened. So I'm really confused on that. Yeah, maybe it continues next season. This season was just a bit, it just continues next season. It was just a bit of a weird one this season, but I don't know, I have to wait and see. But speaking of next season, the Titans are returning to San Francisco. I haven't been the biggest fan of the Titans being in Gotham. Just because I want them to be the Titans. I don't want them to be an extension of the Bat family. And when they were in Gotham, it just felt like that. So I'm excited to go to San Francisco. And we saw at the beginning of the season that like they're sort of hailed as heroes in San Francisco, while in Gotham that wasn't the case. So I'm excited to see them go back to San Francisco and everything like that, and just see how that all plays out. I'm just looking forward to that and seeing, what adventures go on. They can actually properly be the Titans there. But they aren't just going by themselves. They have a new member. Tim Drake is coming with them. But they're traveling to San Francisco in an RV. But that'll be a team building exercise. I think they said it was like 42 hours, 44 hours or something like that that's going to take them to get there. So they'll get to know each other even more in the best and worst possible ways. Now, Donna Troy doesn't go with them. She's actually going to see Dawn, or, Dove, in France, carrying on a message that Hank gave her, obviously in that Underworld episode thing. But she was also offered a role with Argus from Zia. Margarita Zia, I think it was her name. No, V. Sorry, not V. Not Z. V. Margarita V, I think that was her name. So she's offered a role with Argus. And obviously, as I said, Roy Harper's there. So maybe that's how Roy Harper comes into play next season. That Donna comes along to help them with something. And Roy's like, hey, I'll meet up with Dick again. We'll catch up for a drink or something. So, yeah, I'm assuming that she might not be a full thing with Argus, but might be like an entry point where she does stuff like next season. We'll have to wait and see, but it'll be interesting to see how they play Argus into it and who the potential threat could be if they're in it. But the final like scene for this episode and this season was a bit of a weird one. I thought there was going to be another scene that followed it that maybe set up more stuff leading into next season, because there's going to be a big break between, you know, these streaming shows. You get big breaks between seasons, so they thought they would have left on a bit of a cliffhanger. But the final scene is Raven embedding the fears from the Lazarus pit that she had absorbed earlier in the episode into Scarecrow. So he's going to have to deal with that for a while. But obviously Dick tells her to do it. Like, it's like Dick's like, you know, like, yo, go ahead and do it. So hopefully Raven doesn't sit there going, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Well, you know, hey, she's been in the past. So hopefully she's like, yeah, he deserved it. He 100% deserved it. So hopefully there's no dwelling on that moment, that or that decision that she made there, and what Dick sort of allowed her to do. But yeah, that was the end of the season in regards to actual content. Now, in regards to my overall thoughts on this season, it started off really well. Like, I've seen people just saying, oh, it's the first 3 episodes. I think the first 4 or 5 episodes of this season are 7.5, 8 out of 10s, or 8 plus out of 10s. You know what I mean? Like, so lowest would be 7.5, and you know, the highest could be maybe a 10 out of 10. I don't know. It's up to you. But I do think it stagnated a bit, and I think it lost its way in certain areas. I think that's just because I don't think the storyline was overly like, I don't think the story warranted the amount of focus it got, if that made sense. I think it needed another villain or something in there. It needed something else. Just missing that one little bit. Once again, I have no idea if COVID was an issue. You got to remember, this season, even though you might think we're in the clear and some other shows are filming now without COVID, this was filmed, you know, it ended a while ago filming. So they were still filming in that peak COVID period in regards to when shows were filming during that. So I don't know if that was an issue, but I felt it just like it slid down a bit. Now, don't get me wrong, better than season 2. Even though I think this finale was quite rushed, it was much better than the season 2 finale. I think this season as a whole is better than season 2. But I still think it was just rushed in areas. And I think, honestly, I think it's mainly because it lent into that Gotham aspect. I know that brings in viewers because you're using Scarecrow, you're using Gotham City, you can name all these things. But I think that can also be very restrictive because they can only use certain things. They can't use Batman, and even then they can't even use like bigger characters as well because they're reserved for other properties. So yeah, it fell down a bit this season, but it wasn't terrible. Like, it was still watchable and enjoyable in parts. But I am excited for them to get back to San Francisco, actually be the Titans and everything like that. And look, they obviously want to do the Red Hood storyline, and I think, yeah, if you want to do the Red Hood storyline, it has to be in Gotham. So due to that, I support the Gotham stuff if they want to do Red Hood. But yeah, I'm sort of happy to leave Gotham at the same time. So it's an improvement from season 3. Hopefully that's an upward trend into season 4. We get an even better season than this one. But yeah, like, I've seen a lot of criticism towards it, and I'd say myself, I'm a fairly heavy critic towards Titans just because of the potential it has. But I still enjoyed this season for what it was, especially that first half. I thought the first half was pretty damn good, and yeah, it just felt a bit rushed towards the end. But sometimes that happens. Sometimes you can't control that just because you're given this a certain amount of episodes, and sometimes just things don't work out towards the end. But I thought it was good enough. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on all of this. What did you think of this episode, this finale? What did you think of the season as a whole? Are you going to be watching next season of Titans? Let me know all that in the comments section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you guys later. And goodbye.